or classmates. 2. Don't buy a house immediately or rent one in a high-end neighborhood. 3. If you
Comes out your son. You burn the swine when no want you shine. The tree of life, them no want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Comes, I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. I know what you conniving, money. Money, never money, never money. You can keep your conniving money. When you've been up for a bum, you have been tell me money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, you have been tell me money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money, never money, never money, money, never money, money. Now I don't want you conniving money. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and I kill that piece. A 2 pound note and I kill that piece. A 2 pound note and I kill that piece. This is all the money that me walk for. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money. Money, neighbor, money. Money, I don't want you conniving money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people call it Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruption over land and sea, where the wicked politician they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Beep, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see. Sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which has ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, poor people governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
Region 4, the Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union will be hosting its annual general meeting for the period 2021 to 2022 on Sunday, the 25th of August, 2024 for members of Region Number 4. The meeting will be convened at the Critchlow Labor College, Wolford Avenue at 10 hours. Members are encouraged to pre-register at bit.ly/GPSCCU AGM 2024 for further instructions on how to take part in the meeting and to vote for a committee of management. The meeting will take place both online and in person at various locations across the country. Full participation of members is encouraged. Let us move your credit union forward. The Guyana Public Service Cooperative Credit Union. People helping people.
The fire burning red and a Georgia representing of a comes audience. Big up Kidaki, Buxton Massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like son. Red.
You can get meat anywhere, but for the best cuts of chicken, beef, pork, mutton, and lots more, check out T&W Harris Butcher Shop located in the East Rhymeveld Market Meat Section. Call us on 609-7168. 641-4494. Ask for Rastaman. T&W Harris Butcher Shop for the best in fresh cut meats and lots more.
Half an hour, brother.
Stand up, you bit. Simon, stand up. Let them women prop you up if you fall down, right?
Good morning. Good morning. Morning, are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is now 7 hours 42. That is 18 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour on the 13th day of August in the year 2024. I am your host, Kedaki Amsterdam. Welcome to the program. How are you been? How was Aye yesterday? How is Aye today going? How optimistic are you about today? What are your plans for succession today? What happened yesterday that made you think that today would be a better day? Those are all things that concern me. Y'all talk to me. How y'all do, man? I want to know. I'm doing some marketing right now. These business people that just want to sleep till 10 o'clock and so, they can understand business is not done like that. They have to wake up at 3:30 in the morning. And prepare for the day's business. I don't care if you got proper wine or not. Because even if you get the best wine and you don't market the thing, and you don't stand up and be present when it's necessary, you ain't gonna get business. So if you ask Abigail John, tell her for me. 3:30 is the time to get up from your slumber. Ensure you put on the ringer for your phone. So when the early birds come, you could shoot them like the farmer. Don't be bubbly, man. And then message me for tell me stupidness. Well, I know I drink some water, mind my own business here. This morning I have to pick some bones with some people. Y'all see Miranda Brown? Y'all see Miranda Brown? Miranda! I get your files, girl. I understand you joined the PPP because you didn't get a promotion at the army. Well, I know. The PPP is made up of a whole lot of people who are dissatisfied, who are prima donnas, you call them, no? Yeah. When they can't get away over the PNC, or they can't get away in a government office, they run and they join the PPP. The PPP is their source of upward mobility. Oh, Lord, Miranda Brown, I get your files, girl. What you gonna do now? You best put up your profile picture before I put it up. Oh, Lord. Anyhow, man, you know I know. They call it so you to get on board. That's the call, get on board. I see a lot of people saying that, well, right now the jury is still out on what the teachers are going to do in terms of rejecting or accepting that 10%. They say promises are comforts to fools. And so I heard Coretta saying last night that, the initial attitude of the General Council was to accept the 10% because, like in industrial relations, and this is something I will take some time to explain for those who don't understand or those who aren't students of industrial relations. You see, in industrial relations, when you are bargaining, you don't bargain for wages and salaries only. You bargain for conditions of work, right? Conditions of work. And that would include the wages and salaries, your allowances, leave allowance, your vacation, and all of those things. It's a package you bargain for usually. And so sometimes what you lose in terms of salary, if you don't get that 50% increase in salary that you're bargaining for, that usually sometimes can be made up from increased allowances. It can be made up from longer vacation leave and stuff like that. And so what I hear Coretta saying last evening was that, listen, the quote-unquote non-salary benefits were looked at as favorable. And since the non-salary benefits were favorable, then, you know, we could accept the 10%. We didn't get the 25% that our membership said we must accept as at least 25%, but then we got maybe they far outdid themselves in the non-salary benefits. And so you are going to have a balancing out, if I can call it that. So the General Council was saying, well, you know, we perhaps could play along. But when they looked at the long list of non-salary benefits that were offered, they recognized that they were only promises. None of it, or almost none of it, was written in stone. And then people start pulling back. Say, hey, oh, stick a pin. These non-salary benefits that we are talking about have not been written in stone. And so were we to go and accept this 10% now, then these people decide that they're not going to give us these non-salary benefits as promised. You know, the bait and switch kind of game? Yeah. Suppose now it's a bait and switch situation. And so they decided, hey, we're going to do that. So it looks as though the situation currently is that the union is set to reject that 10%, albeit in keeping, I would say, with the mandate given to the leadership of the union by its members. We are sending you there to negotiate for nothing less than double digits and nothing less than 25%. So we want double-digit increases, 25%, nothing less. We can take more, but nothing less. So what the membership practically said to the leaders is, listen, regardless of all the other non-salary benefits that you might get, we do not want anything less than 25% increase on our salaries. The union leadership was prepared, according to the report coming out of the General Council, to go against that. And so I want to ask the question, who really does the leadership represent? Does the leadership represent itself? And that it can decide the mandate that our membership has given us is not what we're going to go with. We're going to go with what we think is fit, without going back to the membership and consulting. That's not democratic for me. And that's not servant leadership for me. And so the teachers, like many of them, are taking a stand. They're saying, listen, if the General Council, including Mark Light, decides to go against the instructions given to them, we are going to have to move on no confidence motion, not only on Mark Light, not only on Mark Light, but on the entire leadership. Right? And I am with the teachers. If your leadership is not representing you according to your mandate, then fire the leadership. Fire the leadership. And so as it is shaping up right now, I'm believing that 10% is going to be rejected. Nonetheless, teachers will return to the classroom on the 2nd of September. But before I go to the classroom on the 2nd of September, let me stick with this rejection. You see, industrial relation, child rearing, parenting, as we see, doesn't have a blueprint to it naturally. But industrial relations has blueprints. There are stages in industrial relationship, stages. There's a grievance, it is raised, which is sharp throat, and so on, it is escalated, you end up in strike action, negotiations start, and all of that. Now they are at a stage where they cannot agree on wages and on the salaries increase, the percentage increase of salary. The next logical thing is supposed to be arbitration, right? They have reconciliation. It was reconciliation. Was it Justice Sandil Kisoon? Justice Sandil Kisoon's coach that took place in when the government was ordered to the table? I think so. So I have reconciliation. Me talking to you and talking to me. I want none from you flying about me, and you know company, and so on and so forth. Somebody steps in and say, "You gotta stop this nonsense. All the big people come to the table." Reconciliation. So they are at the table, make up. To reconcile is to make up, you know. They are at the table. Now you're negotiating and you can't agree on what the wages and salaries increase should be percentage-wise. When you get to that stage, the next logical thing is arbitration. An arbiter comes in, listens to your side, listens to the other party side, examine the books, see what the possibilities are, and then make a pronouncement that is binding on both parties. I remember vaguely, I think there was an Armstrong Commission. Was it the Armstrong Commission that awarded public servants a hefty salary increase during the years of the Dragons? I think so. But there was arbitration prior. There was arbitration that took place in this country. And that saw public servants being entitled to a lot of things compared to where they were prior. And it was the PPP in office, but the PPP never up until this day honored all of the recommendations of that commission. I think it was Armstrong Commission, I can't remember, or McIntyre. Or some economist, some public servant, specialist, something. But there was that arbitration which took place, and teachers were, not teachers, public servants in general, were given percentage increases and so on and so forth. The PPP never honored it to its fullest. There's still a lot of the recommendations which have not been incorporated, which have not been adhered to. So for me, if there is this stalemate, then the teachers should request arbitration. They should go to arbitration and let the arbiter decide. Because the arbiter is supposed to be unbiased, neutral. Listen to your case, examine the facts, and make a determination. That person will take into consideration all the arguments about cost of living, all the arguments about inflation, and so on and so forth, and arrive at what is workable for the teachers and government. So it's a win-win situation. So I don't understand the haste with which Mark Light and his team are moving to accept that 10%. I don't understand the haste. And teachers must understand the processes involved, and so hold out on the union to go to the next stage. No employer offers ultimately what the worker wants, but no employer starts from a position of meeting the workers' demand. None. As they say, power concedes nothing without a fight. And so teachers got to hold their head up. Teachers got to fight. They got to hold it up. And they got to insist that the leaders like Mark Light and Coretta McDonald and the rest of the General Council hold it up and fight for what they deserve. I think good. So with that said, I'm telling you about the 2nd of September. Teachers will go to school on the 2nd of September. They have no choice. It's in their employment contract. You must be on the plant on the first day of school's reopening. You got to be there. Even if you got to crawl on your belly, hop on one leg, roll like a ball, you are required to be at school on the first day of the term. If you're not at school on the first day of the term, you're treated as struck off strength. That is, you're no longer a teacher. Right? And if you're no longer a teacher, they will take you off the payroll. And then when you turn up the second day, basically you ain't gonna get fired. But you're gonna go through hell to get back on the payroll. Sometimes you wait 3-6 months before you get back on the payroll to get paid. But if they really want to get rid of you, right? Like I know there's some vocal teachers who sometimes come on the program with their own name and so and they tag their mind. I would like to see the backs of some of them. And so they can use that same rule to get rid of some of them. If they see them as strike leaders, as the strong ones in the system, and they don't turn up on that first day, they can use that to get rid of them. So teachers will be at work on the 2nd of September, the first day of the term. Like they went to work on the last day of the term because it's a part of the requirement again. First day and last day, you must be on the plant, right? So they will be there on the 2nd. But what happens after the 2nd? Or let's say what happens after the week of the 2nd? Because let's assume they will stay a week to put their records in order and prepare to move ahead with their class and so on. Right? If this is not resolved, this salary increase argument and quarrel and so on is not resolved by the 2nd of September, it's likely that the teachers will be back on strike. It's likely that the teachers will be back on strike. So the question is, when the teachers go back on strike, what's our role as citizens? What's our roles as citizens? Shouldn't we be getting on board? And when I say get on board this time, it's not to sit behind your keyboard and say, yeah, I support the teachers. I will provide snacks to the teachers on strike and so on. I provide water and so on. I'm giving psychological support. No. Our role is to be there in person. We have to make our presence felt. We have to be on the strike line. We have to abandon our posts in whatever government department we have. And so let the teachers strike take a bigger bite in the old public service apparatus. I'm not saying you have to go there every day. But how about choosing 1 day a week or 2 days a week to go out and support the teachers? If for 1 day a week we swell the number of teachers, and we reduce the amount of service available in public offices, that will have its own bite. It will have its own sting. And so there will be more of a need to address the teachers' issue. I said to somebody the other day, they say, with all that's happening in this country and all the noise Guyanese are making, all the complaints, all the cries, it would seem as though the international community is not doing anything to help us out of our plight. I said to the person, the international community is not bound to do anything to help us out of our plight. So long as they are meeting their goals, which right now is to suck the lifeblood out of Ghana, to get as much as they can out of Ghana. They can't be bothered about you that crying foul, so long as they're getting to achieve their goal. Exxon doesn't care about Guyanese and their living conditions and the behavior of the government against Guyanese, because Exxon, and by extension the American people, are getting to extract the oil. That is their interest. But let me examine this here. When thousands of Guyanese take to the streets and they show base businesses that support Exxon cannot function efficiently, then Exxon has a problem. Because if the show-based support is not functioning efficiently, then the deep water operations will falter, and that will impact on Exxon's profit line. That is where a problem arises. And then Exxon will be forced to pay attention. Why is our shore base not efficient to the extent that it is affecting our deep water operations? Oh, is them thousands of public servants out there chanting on the government, obstructing traffic, obstructing the free flow, the free movement of supplies? We will have to have a talk with the government and let them understand how their intransigence is affecting our business. And so they will be required to fix it as fast as possible so that we can get back to doing our business. But you see, some people believe that just shouting, hollering, bawling, bawl and beg. You know the song Bawl and Beg? Bawl and beg is going to resolve this situation. No. If you want to have the attention of the international community, you have to do something of great magnitude. In this instance, I'm saying, if the shore-based operations that supply Exxon suffers inconveniences because they're striking public servants and protesting citizens in the streets of Georgetown and around the country, Exxon and their handlers and the international community that relies on Exxon and their handlers will have to stop and pay attention. Food for Exxon is handled by a shore-based facility. If they can get supplies from, let's say, Mahaika, or if Border Market where they go and shop and Big Market where they go and shop cannot get adequate supplies from Borbis, Mahaika, Region 4, Region 3, Esikoro, then food becomes a problem. You can't get people working along with empty stomachs. They are going to react. If the roads are congested with protesters and those what we call them, consolidated trucks, I think, those container trucks, long base container trucks cannot get to transport pipes from the wharves to the shore base or from the shore base to wherever to meet the needs of the deep water facilities. And issue arises there that Exxon will have to pay attention to. So if you want justice to teachers and you want justice to public servants, just understand that you have to disrupt something. Something has to be disrupted that will draw the attention of the international community to what's happening in Guyana. A woman lives with her husband, he's beating her every day. The neighbors might hear she hollering, but the neighbors don't know why she's hollering. She hollering for pain, they might think it's pleasure. But the day she comes out and she says to her neighbors, this man has beat me for morning, noon, and night, tea, breakfast, and dinner, and I don't like it. He's threatening to kill me. At that point, you expect the neighbors to step up. Some will talk with him. Some will threaten to beat him every time he beats her. Some will simply inform the authorities. But at the end of the day, when she complains to them, many of them will pay attention and determine within their hearts, how can we help to resolve this situation? Same thing goes to the international community. We might be hollering, but we're not hollering in the right direction, and we're not taking adequate actions to cause others to pay attention to our sufferings. Get on board. That's what you have to do. Get on board. Join the teachers when they decide that we're going to strike again. Join public servants when they decide they're going to strike. Grab your students, grab your children. Say, here, this week, because you can't go to school, the ministry and the union playing in the boat out the boat, we will spend at least half of our school day on the strike line. And so UNICEF and them will start to pay attention. Why are there so many Guyanese children, Guyanese minors, who should be in the classroom on the streets instead of supporting strike? Why? Oh, the teachers are not in the classroom because the government is not paying them. They just do. Oh, that's a human rights issue coming up right there, because these children have a right to be educated. And so the government has not taken enough action to ensure that these children are educated. That's how you get action. You can't sit down and say it's the teacher's business. It ain't business as normal. So it can't be teacher's business. It is all of our business. Likewise, politically, the list needs to be cleaned. We need biometrics before we get to the next elections. It can't be 12 persons, whether they come from PNC, WPA, AFC, or the coalition, or the general opposition. It can't be 12 persons alone in front of GCOM. Week in, week out, day in, day out. It cannot be. The numbers in front of GCOM must be big enough to put fear in the hearts of even the security officers at GCOM that, hey, if these people decide to overrun this compound, we can't stop them. You must appear by your numbers to be a clear and present threat. Otherwise, nobody got time with you. When I used to be on the picket line, Because the thing used to try to use the back gate to get inside, along with our chief elections officer. They used to duck and run, duck and hide to get in and out of GCOM. Now I hear the people using the front gate as usual. Because they've come to understand, or they've come to the position, oh, them 11 or 12 persons out there, they pose no threat to us. Can't do that. We want them to pay attention, the numbers must be big enough. We have to organize ourselves and get ourselves out there. Get on board, people. Get on board. Let us do it together. Elections are a few months away. Don't wait until the 11th hour to get on board, to get registered, to check your status on the voters list, to demand a clean voters list, to encourage your relatives to get registered, and take care of all of the business election-wise, so when election day comes, there will be no problem. We can't wait until the 11th hour to get that done. We have to get it done. But at the same time, we can't wait until the 11th hour to get GCOM to commit to cleaning the voters list and delivering on biometrics. My encouragement is don't delay, don't slumber, don't skylark, don't go slow. Get on board and get on board now. The lines are opened. 40 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. 6225933 is the number to call. Call and let's talk the thing. What can you do to help the teachers fight? What can you do to help to get a resolution to the teachers fight? What can you do to get a resolution to the demand for clean voters list? Paula.
Yes, good morning. Can you hear me?
I am hearing your device in the background.
Oh, that's my TV, sorry.
Give thanks, this man got television, he can play it hard.
Thank you very much for reminding me.
You're live.
Yes. Okay, good. Good morning to you and all my African Guyanese brothers and sisters in Guyana. Let me say this first. That advertise on your program. Is nothing wrong to have to remember our Independence Day. But sometimes we have to make sacrifice. Sometimes we have to cut our nose and smile our face when it is time. Those who promote that for our independence, what Flash Garden would have done, I would have create a package and even pay but 5,000 or 6,000 or 600 for people, those who have their green cards, to go home back and end the black people there in Guyana. End them out of that punishment. Buy a ticket for a week for them. They could go in 3 weeks before, 2 or 3 days before, and come out 3 days after. I believe that will be more beneficial for keep this big parade and all this for independence. Independence will always be here every year until the world ends. But life wouldn't be here all the days of our life. We need to save life. And by doing that, encourage people to come home and vote. Because the East Indian people, excuse me for the word, the Kodi people is doing that. And nobody is not announced on a program and encourage their black brother sister who have green card in this country, Canada, America, England, to come home and vote. Why? They don't love these words, love, unity, and support. We could talk about all the wrong thing the black, the Koli man did to the black man. But where our helping hands? Where is our helping hands for assist black people in Guyana? Especially Koli people, they don't beat down adults. They're torn to children now, and we just sit back. One more thing before we go. Mr. London, Nigel London, I wouldn't say flash garden support advice, my good advice. The boat don't sink already. Today, that young lady come out and said, yes, I said, and so what? Black man a monkey? Next 2 more weeks, somebody will come out and say it again. It's on their DNA. So to my advice, save your money. Don't take, it's a waste of time. Why? Because Anil Nandalal, the man that steals the law books, he's going to put a judge for rule in ERC favor. And then you have to end up pay ERC. Save that money for one of your members in church. You get an urgent need. There's nothing we can do now concerning these people calling us all kind of names. You know, when we put our guard down, is when we let Jadio call our black female MP, an intelligent woman, low life, and not even she brother and she father and she husband represent all. Not even she husband pick up the phone and say, "I, Jadio, you already said, but don't do it again. Don't disrespect my wife and have a phone." We got to stop. Allow this pastor to tell us when we married for better, for worse. Knock out that worse. Knock out that worse, my brother and sister. That is the problem with black people today. We allow anybody to take advantage on our wife. Let me remind wife and woman today in Guyana. Jesus saved a woman. He doesn't save a man, he saved a woman. Those who without no sin carry the first stone. Go ahead and kill her. I give her permission, kill her. Because you know why? We know why the woman have to be doing that. Maybe she got children. Fathers are use her, abuse her, go away and leave her. Parent, woman always provide, mother always provide for them kids, no matter what. No matter what they have to do. They know it's not right. But it protects. They always keep an edge on to children because they feel 9 months. They go through 9 months pain. They plead for that child. They take pain for that child. Restless night, sleepless nights. And me will never let no person call my woman and who I married no low life. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call you. Tune to Guyanese morning time. And let's take the time to say happy birthday to Proper Wine. Oh yeah, yes. Let's say happy birthday to Proper Wine. The girl is getting of age, but she's sleeping late. I don't like that. Good. The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call you. Tune to the Guyanese morning time. Let me remind you that CAMS TV, Society for African Guyanese Empowerment, and 1st of August movement, Buxton will be hosting a business and cultural expo on the 25th of August at Benjamin's Lawns. That's right opposite the Tipperary Hall in Buxton, Midwalk. Booths are available. You can call or WhatsApp 6827981 for further information on booths. And we welcome exhibitors from all the regions. If you're offering a service, bring it. If you have an agribusiness, bring it. If you're into manufacturing, bring it. Bring it, bring it, bring it. Bring it so that we can showcase what it is you have to offer, the Guyanese and the African and international community and so on. Bring it, because CAMS TV is going to be there live and we're going to be featuring your businesses. For the small fee you're going to pay as an exhibitor at the Business and Cultural Expo, you're going to get more than value for your money because you're going to get exposure on social media with CAMS TV featuring the businesses that are exhibiting there. So please start making those calls. I know Mocha is in the house. Big up yourself, Mocha. There's a whole co-op there, and they have already indicated they're interested in coming to the expo. Where is Ithaca? Where is BV? Where is Denhamstel? And so on and so forth. Lane's Apparel, you can turn up at the Buxton Business and Cultural Expo. Let's see what you have to offer. Call your life.
Yeah, good morning, again to all the listening public. Now that I keep piggybacking on some things you said yesterday with the WPA who had the opportunity to be the prime ministerial candidate in the last elections. You know, there are certain things you gotta hold your ground. And I think that if WPA was allowed to take up the position that they worked for and they won, we would have had a different dispensation in Guyana. Because if we should look at what went down with AFC, I don't think that that would have been able to happen if WPA had maintained their stand. We all saw what happened. We all know what went on. Now in the AFC, we have the leader there, the leader. He was all out to get his hands on certain wealth in the country. And after he was not given that allotment of oil rig or oil cap or whatever, there is where all went sour. And everything that the PPP put up and said they're doing, he always goes along with them 100%. But the only time when Ramjadan differs with the PPP is when he cannot get a owner oil rig. Now moving out from there, coming to the teachers. I remember one day we were protesting. And the teachers were going back from Marriott, and I asked them to join. And they went on with no little, they didn't join the protest. I know of an individual who myself and I decided to go and ping the first of me. She ended up breaking her foot. Up to now, I went and I visited her twice. Prior to that, she does a business. And because of her activity being on the protest line in front of GCOM every Tuesday, she and I started with two and used to go there 3 days a week. That woman's business is taking a total beating. It's a little business that she does. Many days she said, Rwanda, going that don't sell nothing. All because of her activism in this protest line. And I would sit down and watch and see every morning, everywhere where people coming out and talking about the protesters, this, the protesters, that. Nobody don't stop in that line and think to say that the protesters goes to a lot. You suffered immensely as being a protester. We know other protesters who got for do swear God for say bloody hell to keep afloat protesting. And still people would be typing in comments as they typing protesters, and they still keep criticizing. Also, whatever we do, they can't see people out on the protest because they sit down and type, they don't come out. But you know, I think that one of these good days, the faithful few will join them to and don't go away and protest, because we are giving a big service every day, and we stand up on the protest line. The pictures going all over. We know where the pictures going. We know where the voices going, but we are out there. And with all we are rendering such a service to this country, we are being treated as though we are nothing, but we are something. And one day I know we will stop going out there and protest. So y'all want got to talk a set of things about us. Because it seems as though we are not people in Guyana. It is hard every day to hear people criticizing protesters. Instead of coming and joining us, you sit down to criticize us. What can we do? We're given more than enough. We have given our businesses. We've given our time, our talent, our treasure, and everything. And still we are not being thanked. That's my comment today. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your comment, Rhonda. Thank you for your comment. The one thing I like to say is, I always say it, we must know when to fight. We must know when to fight. Not because your neighbor didn't come and out your house when it was on fire. You're going to allow your neighbor house to burn when it is on fire, recognizing that it will catch on to other houses in the neighborhood. I like to use these analogies so hopefully I make things clear. Yeah, the teachers might not have participated in the strike, in the protests or clean voters list and so on when called upon in front of GCOM, right? But does that mean that we do not support them in a time when they need our support? And if they don't get our support, their struggle will go on for a longer time and our children will suffer. Ultimately, we have to look at the impact of teachers' strike on our children's education. And so the shortest time we could bring a teacher's strike to an end, that should be our end game. And so I'm saying, regardless of which teacher, when as we are saying teachers are responsible for the fiasco in the 2020 elections with no documentation and fraudulent votes and all kinds of things. She likes to say that. Now she's saying, all right, we call them, then come to protest with us. But should we not take into consideration that if we don't support our teachers so that they can get back into the classroom comfortably, that will have a long-lasting impact on our children's education, which will have a long-lasting impact on our society and the quality of life we live? But I want us to consider that. Because ultimately, if our teachers don't teach, our children are poorly educated, we got some serious social issues on our hands to deal with. And I would rather us not have those social issues. Call your life. Thank you for holding.
Morning to that. Sometimes you got to drop that broad brush, that day job or do work or job work brush, and proceed with the most important things. I am sure if you check the percentage of teachers who work with elections, I'm sure it's not the majority of teachers. I could put my head on a block and everything else on a block. I will not get cut off. We got to be careful. Sometimes we just generalize and we broad brush and put everybody into a box. And as you go on and you said, it's far-reaching implications because it's not just the teachers we're going to spike. It's the children and the nation at large what's going to happen later on. With that said, I must thank people for, yes, the pressure that we put on them, on Mark Light and the executive, because I'm sure they listen to this book and realize the heat that is coming down. They realize the heat that is coming down and say, nah, boy, we got to throw water on this thing now. And before I go, I got someone who teaches this system in the education system in North Carolina. We got a set of Guyanese teachers about to join that skill system. They're leaving. America's recruiting them here. North Carolina, Texas, etc. recruiting teachers from home. There's a special program that is there. And then these teachers are allowed, after 2 contracts, you could be able to get a green card and normalize yourself. But with this system that is going on right now, you're able to bring your family, your husbands that get a work permit, etc. And they will be able to work. It's a temporary green card you're going to get. So we get them, the whole brain drain is happening, so they can continue to show up themselves. But the government don't care. The country could empty of all the professionals, they don't care. It's we the people that are to pressure them. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. The ILO is saying that it has a concern with a high number of unemployed youths. A high number of unemployed youths. The ILO is concerned. What might be responsible for a high number of unemployed youths? Y'all think it through. Right? Think it through. There's also a report of persons leaving Ghana despite the fact that Ghana is supposed to be the fastest growing economy, right? Persons are anxious to get out of here. I think it was a Guardian report. I'm looking for it, right? Guyanese are anxious to leave the shores of this country and head elsewhere, despite Guyana being the fastest growing economy. Guyanese contemplating running from oil-rich country over high cost of living. UK media reports. Let me share that with you. It has been in the news since the 11th. And I don't know if you've seen it, but let me share it. Yeah, same things, man. All right. Good morning. Morning, are you? Well, all right, we can get this right. Don't worry. Tertiary and secondary levels that are leaving. I want to tell you that educators at the tertiary level, good. Okay. Morning, are you morning, are you morning, are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 7 hours 30 on the 14th day of August in the year 2024. I'll tell you what was happening. I mean, all y'all wonder what was happening, right? Good, but I can tell you just be a strain. How was that your last night? How you passed your last night? How was yesterday? How productive was yesterday for you? What were you able to achieve? Talk to me. I want to know these things. I'm always concerned about your well-being. Don't you for 1 minute think that I am not concerned about your well-being. I am always concerned about your well-being. And that is why I try most times to come and bring you information and stuff like that. Good? Because we are in this fight together. And we have a right to look out for each other. Good? So the question is, how was your yesterday? How were you able to manage? How did you pass the night? I know I saw some friends of mine early morning before board wife week messaging me and so on, which means that they didn't sleep well. They had a lot on their mind, right? They had a lot on their mind. And like me, I always got a lot on my mind too. But I got a system that says when I lay down and I throw myself down upon the mattress, the cocos bag, when I throw myself down there, when the clean reach, then is when I can wake up back. I like like 40 morning, I just have to get up and wee and so then I just go back and catch a second sleep and thing. But some people can't sleep at all. Some people on the run all the time. I understand the senior policeman is still on the run. So cool. Still has interest in that senior policeman. But up to now, they can't lay under the man. They can't even lay eyes on the man. The question is it that they can't find him or you're not interested in finding him? I just want to know. But, darker the days, I would say. Right? Dark are the days when senior policemen and women in your society has to be running from the law. Because these are the people that are supposed to be upholding the law and enforcing the law. Yep. So is it that they can't find this gentleman who are used loosely? Or they don't want to find him? As a matter of fact, I understand that there might be more reasons for wanting to find him right now than those allegations of financial improprieties. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's some curiosities I have this morning, and we're going to discuss them as we go along. Lenny Champagne is what you're always in my business, girl. That's what is a story you like with me. Yeah. Who you checking on me and me wee for? Yeah. You know, when you live under certain conditions, you can't afford to wake up and wee. Because when you wake up and wee, you disturb the whole house. Especially if you just wee like summer wee. Like when you dash water a trench, blashai, bashai, yoo. Like when you turn a big dirty guy with pipe and the dirty water flowing out. Right? Anyhow, we're talking this story. But let me see Harriet. Harriet is talking about cost of living. So let me look at it. Yeah. So Harriet is talking about the cost of living. Indeed, she said she is preparing for her ancestral service, and she went shopping. Normally, when you're doing ancestral service, you gotta buy enough thing by. Um, you gotta buy enough things. So I know what Harriet talking about. Enough thing. Yeah, I get salt and you gotta get sweet and you gotta get this and you gotta get that and yeah. Yes, Harriet, I understand the business, girl. So yeah, it's quite expensive and is quite a miracle Guyanese make out with the prices in the market, right? Quite a miracle Guyanese make out. I'll share with you. I want to share an article with you that what's his name? Not GHK Lal, the other one. Or is GHK Lal? Yeah, GHK Lal. Is Lal that goes on Dr. Isaacs program? Yeah, I think so. An article that Lal wrote, an opinion piece. I'll share it with you in the course of the morning. But hey, cost of living gone through the roof. And like Harriet is saying, places without half the resources that we have here, quarter the resources that we have here, have a better money value than us. The currency has a higher rating on the international market. It simply says two things to me, or one thing. The managers of those countries are doing better than the managers of our country. The managers of those resources, as little as they are doing better than the managers of our resources. And if you have managers that are not serving you well enough, what do? You fire them. Fire them. So here's another reason for firing the cult, the cabal, the mafia, the cartel, known as the PPP in government. There are many reasons for firing them. A whole lot of reasons for firing them. Master Study is saying that pension has become irrelevant due to the present cost of living situation. I had a conversation with Sister Pat. Let me call her that, Sister Pat, Auntie Pat from Queenstown. Last week, I think I went down there. I was talking with her. And Sister Pat, Auntie Pat tells me that the Dependents Pension Fund, y'all know the Dependents Pension Fund? They pay $620 a month as a pension. $620 per month as a pension. What can $620 per month do? I want to ask. My understanding of the Dependents Pension Fund is it's a contributory fund while you're working or your spouse is working, whoever is working, they sign up for dependents pension fund, and monies are deducted from their salaries on a monthly basis. I am told currently it might be about $1,000 a month deducted. And the dependents pension fund really is really a supplementary pension. Right? It's a supplementary pension. In that, my understanding is that it was established because at the time, the founders were of the opinion that the pension paid by government, whether NIS or old age or whatever, the pension paid by government was inadequate. And so the dependents pension fund was supposed to supplement that. So you pay into that fund while you're working, and then when you reach retirement age, there's an age by which you start to benefit from your dependents pension fund. And they will give you that as an additional to what you're collecting from government as pension. But it would appear as though the amounts have not changed over the years. $620 a month? Make it make sense. So in other words, it's telling me it's not something you have to sign up for. It's deducted whether or not you sign up for it. $620 a month? Make it make sense. You please, make it make sense. Auntie Pat also complained to me for the government of Ghana and the Ghana Geology and Mines Commission. She said her husband worked with Geology and Mines Commission and he died on the job. He died on the job. And so she became eligible for survivor's benefit. According to what she told me, she said, you know, you had an option. You could marry again and lose your survivor's benefit, or you could do it without a man and collect your survivor's benefit. Right? Well, by then, Auntie Pat must have been a big girl, and she decided, I need no man. Right? And so she was collecting her survivor's benefit, and she was making do with her survivor's benefit, albeit that it wasn't a whole lot. Right? She was making do with her survivor's benefit. And then she became of age to get or NIS pension. And believe it or not, under the stewardship of Barjagio, our survivor's benefit was taken away. Why was it taken away? Because after Barjagio and friends invested the NIS money in the Borby's Bridge and things got tight over at NIS, they started to find ways to screw, to shaft pensioners. You'll remember those periods. You can go back to them and see the hardship that NIS pensioners had. A whole lot of them were being robbed of their contributions and they were not getting their pensions. They were being offered grants and all kinds of stuff like that. And so one of the things she said happened during that time, Barjagio, she said it was Barjagio. So let me say allegedly Barjagio instructed the NIS that she couldn't get two payments at the same time. Two payments. Now something is wrong with that, because at the time they said she couldn't get two pensions at the same time. And one will agree that two pensions, no individual can naturally get two pensions at the same time. But the question is survivors benefit a pension? I doubt it. Survivors benefit in my head is like a life assurance payment. Life assurance. No, there's life insurance and there's life assurance. Right? Life assurance, if I remember my terminologies, is supposed to take care of the survivors after death. Right? And so Auntie Pat was entitled to that payment, survivors benefit. And allegedly, but definitely under the stewardship of Bar Jagyo, it was taken away from her. And so she has now to contend with one pension, doesn't have a man, because she never remarried and so on. And as I would say, is seeing hell like the average Guyanese citizen to make ends meet with a singular pension that she's getting from the NIS. Right? Despite the fact that her husband died on the job, working with the Guyanese Geology and Mines Commission. How humane are we as a country? How do we look out for our elders as a country? How do we reward those who have sacrificed their youth to build this country with policies like those? I can tell you the NIS was a mess. My father died when I was about 11. I was just going into secondary school. I just got into secondary school. Right? And so I was the only minor. And so my mother was entitled to survivor's benefit for herself and me as a minor. I think she had gotten hers, but I saw hell. She saw hell to get that money for me. I was almost out of secondary school when she started getting that money, right? So as I usually say, in this country, there's a wickedness on the part of the administrators and the powers that be. I think they deliberately frustrate pensioners to start with. In the words of Charandas, to ensure that they die before they get anything major out of the national insurance scheme. And when I say in the words of Charandas, I'm talking about an interview I saw with him some months ago when everybody thought Charandas the dead and Charandas the bad and he got dead. And so Charandas resurrect blam. And he said if he were the president or in that office of authority to determine wages and salaries increases and so on, he would have given pensioners, I think, $100,000 a month. Because in his calculation, they don't live very long. They wouldn't live very long after becoming a pensioner. And so it's not a whole lot to pay out because within a short time, they're going to die. My paraphrasing. And I believe that that is the policy of the PPP government. That is the policy of the PPP government. Frustrate pensioners. Got them running up and down treadmill to find their previous employers to verify their contributions, NIS contributions, before they can get any pension. And then by the time they're ready to get a pension, they're closer to that door than they are to the land that they're living. And so you don't pay them a whole lot. They don't get a whole lot of benefit from the system. And I personally believe it's a policy. It's not inefficiency. It is a policy of that agency to do that to pensioners. And more so, I think it's a policy of the PPP administrators Because when you look into the Granger USA example, I think pensioners had a better time. I think pensioners had a better time. Good. So I just thought I'd bring that up that the cost of living conversation started. But guess what? I can't remember what I was telling you before that. Geriatrics in the house. Right? I can't even remember what I was telling you um, just now before I went to that story. Good? But I got one to show you. Let me see if I'm going to get it right. Because, let me tell you all this morning. If you see me floundering around like headless chicken, as they say, it's because right now I hardly know what I'm doing. My monitor, the monitor on which I display the videos and so on to show to you, the thing stayed just on turn black. I guess it has outlived its usefulness. It's on, but it's not displaying, which means that the screen must have gone. Whole thing does give up eventually. So I guess I got start out just now, sometime. So I am really what I said, titivating to get this right. Titivating to get this right. But let's go.
Yeah, this is water that people got for bathe and eat and drink and cook. So if you think a lion, look, throw it away, put back the bucket, turn it back on, and there we go. Oil rich piano, oil running for the fucking pipe pot. Oil. Y'all want to put talking beer sponsor all the time? Yeah? This is the capital city. Capital city, 400,000 people. This is what we fucking get them from your mother's country.
I can be honest with you. Guyanese got a certain way of expressing themselves, and I love when Guyanese express themselves. I particularly love the way this person expressed.
Yeah, this is water that people got for bathe and eat and drink and cook. So if you think a lion, look, throw it away, put back the bucket, turn it back on, and there we go. Oil rich piano, oil running for the fucking pipe pot. Oil. Y'all want to put talking beer sponsor all the time? Yeah? This is the capital city. Capital city, 400,000 people. This is what we fucking get them from your mother's country.
Yes, y'all can say the language is gross and all of that, but that's industrial language, and that kind of language makes people understand what is happening. Looking at that water, and it's not only in the capital city, it has been happening across this country. I can tell you that Master's Sudden has complained to me several times to the quality of water that he is getting at number 51. I am curious. And I'm curious to know why the water is of that, I can't say quality, condition. Why the water is of that condition. I have my own theory. My first theory is that they do not have chemicals to treat the water. I challenge Sheikh Bash to come out and tell Guyanese people whether or not they have the necessary chemicals to the treatment of water. Because if you look at that water, from where I'm standing, it looks like the raw. And quite frankly, the quality is even worse than the raw conservancy water. You know the water that they get in Georgetown? The water that is distributed in Georgetown is water that comes from the conservancy, the East Demerara Water Conservancy, EDWC. If you see that place, it's a massive mass of water. I was fortunate to go there a couple of times when I worked with the Department of Public Information covering agriculture. But there's a water that's passed through the Blacker in Sophia area. The same water conservancy water. So that water feeds into Gaiwa at Vlissingen Road and goes through a series of treatments to be purified, including chlorination and so on. And then it comes out clear, like the water you would like to see or the water you buy in these bottled water. Now, Van Westchar, as I say, regardless of how I cuss Van Westchar in my mind, I never cuss him publicly, but I have my thoughts of Van Westchar, some of which will end me with a damn libel suit if I open my mouth on them. Right? So I have to cuss those cuss in my head. But the reality is, regardless of how we label Van Westchar was able to get that conservancy water, as I'm calling it now, to a quality that was internationally acceptable for consumption. It means that there had to be consistent quality monitoring. I always say quality control. There had to be consistent investment in the necessary chemicals and so on to bring the water to that quality. And so when I see that water, I'm saying this looks like the naked, raw conservancy water. And so maybe over at Gayo, they don't have the chemicals to treat the water. And so if you are in an oil economy where you're drawing out $40 billion as a supplementary budget, and you don't have chemicals to treat water for your citizens, something is afoot. Something is afoot. What is happening, Sheikh? Tell us. And I'm not surprised because Sheikh was that guy before, and he was an abject failure. The PPP got away with recycling junk. That's why they allow you to bring in vehicles that are 14 years old and so on, because they like recycled junk. And so Sheikh falls in one of those brackets of junk. He failed then and he's failing now. He failed at education, he failed at water, and they put him back at water to fail again. Why Sheikh Bash can't get that water fixed? You see, in a country where people do in-depth research and so on, investigations, investigative journalism, somebody might have been able to tell us if Sheikh has interest in any of the water bottling facilities around the country that sells bottled water. Because I'm thinking in my head, maybe this man has some interest to protect. And that is why he's sabotaging the public water supply. Because they sabotage. When the PPP took office, the quality of water that was being offered to Guyanese citizens was, like I said, internationally acceptable. Across the country right now, the quality of water that people are getting, some people are even afraid to wash their hands inside. And they have all reasons. Untreated water coming through the blacker, right? I want to jump and tell me that I'm wrong, because I'm not the custodian of all knowledge or wisdom. But untreated water coming through the blacker and going into Gayo is contaminated water. And if that same contaminated water is supplied to citizens, eating houses and all of that across the city, then we're waiting for a disastrous health catastrophe. That statement sounds like it is full with redundancy. But hey, we're waiting for a disastrous health catastrophe. Because there are those people who can't care to, as I would say, boil it or sanitize it in any way, and will, for example, just bathe with it, and then they could end up with a set of skin rashes and diseases and all kinds of things. Because, like I said, water coming through the blacker, going into Gaiwa at Vicinity Road, is contaminated water. You have people living on both sides of the bank of that water source. Some does shit and shy, others don't. Some got pit latrine, and so you're going to get seepage into the water. And then you got those who swim in the black all day, every day. You don't know what they left in the water when they don't swim. And so to be supplying citizens with that kind of water, I can't say quality of water, the water ain't got no damn quality. To be supplying citizens with that state of water is naturally exposing people to things that can impact their health in a negative way. Is that what we are prepared to accept? Is that what citizens are expected to accept in this Guyana 2024 fastest growing economy, and so on and so forth? Shouldn't citizens, hear me again, Mr. Protest, find themselves in front of Gaiwa in large numbers and demand better? Talk to me. Shouldn't citizens take it upon themselves to find themselves in front of Gaiwa and protest for better quality of water? Or we got to wait on the opposition to do that? This nasty, dirty, stinking water, the community or home shore taps, is it affecting the opposition or opposition alone? I want to give you all an example. And this is how I will. Even if that is the water that is reaching the homes of many of the parliamentarians, it changes at the entry point. Because I'm sure many of them got lavish water filtration systems. Many of them got lavish water filtration systems. The water is filtered from the time it comes off the road and hit the yard. Goes through a series of filters. And so by the time it gets to their skin, assuming they use it to bathe, it has less contaminants than the ordinary man would have to put up with. So why the ordinary man want to wait on these politicians, these parliamentarians and so on, to organize a protest in front of Gaiwa? People should just turn up in front of Gaiwa. Right? Then, Champion, you're asking a very important question. How is it the private companies are able to produce clear, clean, odorless water for citizens? Are they buying the chemicals from Gaiwa? Are you insinuating that there are thieves and corruptors at Gaiwa who are selling the chemicals bought by taxpayers' money? Who knows? Who knows? Could be. I don't know. But there are possibilities because with the high cost of living, low wages and salaries, people are usually put at their wits' end to survive. And I remember us talking about begging, borrowing, or thieving. Right? You could beg, borrow, or thief. And as it would appear, a whole lot of people in this society are prepared to thief. Because if they beg, nobody ain't got nothing to give them. Who you begging? Who want themselves? I used to say, I still say it. Part of the black man's problem is we all are looking to others who have the same need as we have to give to us. Right? A parent gonna cry out, say the children ain't doing nothing for her or for him, but the children want somebody to do something for them. So what do you do? Right? End up with thieves and corruptors and misappropriators. So Denise might be right. Right? But the reality is, private sector people are able to do it and do it consistently because it's profit making. Why then, as a public utility, why then Guy or GWI cannot get it right? Huh? And then for people to come and give you nonsense answers as to why it is happening and how long it will take to fix. It should never have happened in the first place. But again, I'm going to say that these things will continue to happen and are allowed to happen because Guyanese are accepting them. Guyanese are accepting them. You know, if your neighbor always taking the ice and pass, you would have stabbed the eye pass, a good cocktail, or abuse out. They say, cost na get back door. Right? Guyanese have to, and that is why I enjoy that video. I tell you the truth, I enjoy that video. They got sometimes you can't talk ordinary language. And we are you Creolese, standard English, Spanish, Portuguese. No, you gotta go to the industrial type so people understand you. Good. In the same realm of things, I want to talk about house lots. House lots. According to them, they gave out close to 2,000 house lots over the weekend at the Building Expo. As somebody says, at the President's Expo. I wanted, when I was fingering titivating, you know the word titivating, I grew up hearing the word titivating. I can't really find out if there's any such a word, though, titivate. What it is to titivate? Actually, a word like this for sure, titivate. Titivate. Groom, tidy, arrange, brush. What's strange enough? Smooth, smarten up, spruce up, freshen up, beautify, pretty, print. I am sure when we using the word titivate, it didn't mean nothing like that. Right? You only titivating with that thing you're broken. Anyhow, when I was titivating with my camera just now, my phone, I wanted to go out and do a broadcast from outside. In one of the schemes, there are two schemes close by right now. There's a Vigilance South. I'm not sure that's the name they call it, but that's the location, Vigilance South. It's Vigilance South of the railway line. A new scheme is being developed behind there. Started under the coalition government. At least the lands were identified under the coalition government. But then the regime change took place, the PPP took over. Excuse me. Wow. I'm tired, I guess. And so for 4 years now, I would think, that scheme is there to be developed. I see some people are moving in. People have started because, you know, the housing situation is dire in this country. So a few persons were able to complete or partially complete their homes and they moved in the incompleted homes. And I wanted to take a drive down there to show you what the PPP considers a housing scheme and what they consider doing justice to citizens by allocating them land. Because like I consistently say, all the PPP does is give you a plot of land, a little piece of land, a 40 by something, 40 by 100 or something. Right? I say, hey, take them. 500,000 middle income, 1.5 million high income and so on, 300,000 low income and so on. Take them. You want land? Take them. And these lands are just the way Gaisuko left them. Because most of the lands being allocated are quote unquote abandoned plantations, abandoned cultivation fields from Gaisuko. And so no particular infrastructural development has taken place. Roads are cut. And I say roads are cut loosely. Roads are cut but not done, if you understand what I'm saying. There's a layout. There's a plan. I don't know if that's what they call a cadastral plan, but there's a plan of the area. These are where the streets will fall. This is where pipes will go, and so on and so forth. And the outlines are cut. The topsoil is usually removed, graded for preparation for road construction. And that is all that is there, even after 4 years at Vigilance South. Then there's another area at Annandale South, behind Eastville. In fact, some people might argue Lusignan South because you have to go through the local. Oh, God have mercy. Alex, I know there's a lot of oxygen that's making your answer this. I don't know why. Anyway, but what we used to call a local line, right? East Coast people might know local line or aqueduct. I mean, archiduct. That is what we call it growing up. All the years, big people would still tell you about archiduct. But the correct thing is the aqueduct. Aqueduct is where about 4 drainage outlets reach and pass underground to cross over to another section. And it's constructed from concrete. It has been there for years, hundreds of years, quite frankly, maybe. But the aqueduct. So to get to that housing scheme at Annandale South or Lusignan South, whichever one they call it, you gotta go down the road with the aqueduct. Or local line, local train line. I guess local comes from the word locomotive or locomotive, but those are the names I grew up hearing. But I'm now trying to piece them together. Loco, right? Good. So you go down to loco there. You go down local line of the train line, of the railway line, or line top road. You make a left onto local line, and then you make almost an immediate left, and you go into that scheme there. Again, that's another area that the coalition had started, are definitely identified for development, right? Yeah. Marlon is telling me that the land is 40 by 80. Look, what a story, right? Don't flash on. I trust myself. I ain't talking nothing wrong yet. Thank you. So when you go down in that scheme there, again, you will see, like you will see in Success. Remember how long they're fighting the people at Success? Right? Good. You will see the state of non-development in that area. And that was my intention this morning, to go out there and show you the state of these areas that the government is talking about giving out almost 2,000 house lots to citizens. I mean, we're going to have the argument about you get 2,000 house lots, how they pay for them, number one, how they're building on them, number two, given the cost of living and the starvation wages. Good? But even those people who have managed to start something in those areas are in a state of despair, I would say. They're exposed to diseases and everything. incomplete roads, potholed, filled. I attempted to drive into Vigilance South 2 days ago, I think, out of curiosity. And I had to turn back. I had to turn back on the main access road to Vigilance South. I had to turn back when I got into that scheme. Once I crossed the bridge to go into that scheme, within 2 minutes drive, I had to turn back. That is the state of development. That's the non-developed state of that place. But these monkeys are jumping around and telling people that they give out 2,000 house lots, 2,040 by 80 according to Marlon. And since Miranda was telling you you can build a two bedroom 20 by 20 or something like that, and these 40 by 80, and still got place to plant and so on. In this year 2024, in this modern year, the fastest growing economy, people are being encouraged to live in logies, build logies and live in them. Might be modern looking logies, but logies nevertheless. So let me share this story with you. Close to 2,000 families from regions 3 and 4 are now on their journey towards home ownership. After receiving their house lots at the Ministry of Housing and Water, Central Housing and Planning Authority, Dream Realized Housing Drive at the International Building Exposition 2024. The recipients were allocated lands at Wales Phase 2 Housing Development in Region 3, Nomprel and Labon Intention, Phases 3 and 4 along the east coast of Demerara. So this Nomprel might be the very area I'm calling Vigilance South. Yes, they're in close proximity, so perhaps it's the same area. Along the east coast of Demerara. The distribution exercises was led by Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Cole, Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, and Chief Executive Officer of CHPA, Sharon Graves. The DPI caught up with several beneficiaries who are happy to embark on this significant part of their homeownership journey. And I'm going to read what he's saying because guess what? All they're going to be saying is we're happy to get pre-land, we're going to make a start, the government doing good. Right? I can tell you what DPI does or what the PPP DPI does. They pre-screen people to speak. And so all of the comments that they will play there for you will be glowing tributes to the government. Good? Right? But that's the reality. Go check it for yourself. I still hope that I'll be able to go down there and give you a good shot, a good view of these places where they're giving people house lots and boasting about them. And the people that spend a jewel and a crown, along with what they pay the government to develop them. Okay? I've been allocated a lot recently. What they call the area? Hope, New Hope or something. I can't remember. Somewhere down at the back of Luzignan, opposite the jail, way past the jail, deep down, because my house lot is in phase 3, perhaps low income, you know. It's way down at the back there. I had to pay them, I can't remember as well. 250, 300,000, something. I think 250,000. With short notice, I had to find 100 grand and give them blam. And a couple months to pay the rest. Yeah. I barely remember though, and I went and scrape, and pay the rest. But at the end of the day, all they could have given me is a lot number or a plot number. When they were collecting, and I rather suspect that is what might have happened at this dream realize thing, and a lot of the people gonna come to realize that. All they did is collected your money and gave you an allocation letter saying, well, this plot of land is yours. But when you ask to go and see it, no, it's not ready. You can't go and see it yet. The surveyors are still to demarcate it. Yeah, I was sent to the surveying department for Lord of mercy, this country of ours. I was sent to the surveying department for them to show me the lot on the surveying plan. The lot on the surveying plan, but you can't go and see the lot physically because it has not been cleared or anything. That is what they call land allocation, 2,000 house lots. Yeah? And they want people to be singing the praises to that. Just another curiosity. It's 20 past the 8 o'clock hour. The lines are open. You can start calling if you so wish. 6225933 is the number to call. Let me hear what are some of your curiosities. I did ask the question as part of my curiosity. What is the state of play in that investigation of financial impropriety over the Ghana police force? Has SOCU been able to make contact with that senior, very senior police official who requested and was granted leave? I want to know that. Was SOCU able to get him to report to them as they wished because he was invited to SOCU? In the first instance, I understand he never turned up and they went to his home and was told that he had gone to Brazil. In other instances, I was told that the man is right here. He was seen, he and his wife were seen not so long ago in Wolford Avenue, a stone's throw away from the Ghana Police Force headquarters. Or should I say SOCU's headquarters? Because SOCU's headquarters is right on Camp Street almost, right? Camp opposite Wolford Avenue. So he was closest to SOCU, according to my reports, and they have not seen him. Call you live. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Kodaki, and the listening viewers in Guyana here and around the world. You're so blessed with this program, and I appreciate every morning that I can stream in. But my thing this morning, my take is that water. First, on that water. Someone was telling me that during the Granger administration, the water was so red. I tell them there was a fool because it was nothing like that. And I can understand in this 2024 years how we can get that kind of water in an oil-rich country. And that's why I keep saying in some country, the whole country just shut down because people protest. People would have protest for that water. Coming to the second topic, I believe the government should go to Linden, mainly in Rizrak and Amelia's ward, and embark on a feasibility study after they look the drainage and stuff and road that's still standing up from since Bornum time. Jagyo, they say that them build the ward. I don't understand that. They even can't build a good housing scheme, much as to build a ward. What Bornum Belanders self-help. But I would encourage them, advise them to go to Amila's ward and raise rock and look at drainage and road that bill. Since in Bornham, time when they say Bornham never do nothing. Let it take the full homework. Continue good work, Mr. Pedaki, and have a blessed day.
Thank you for your call. The lines remain home 6225933 is the number to call. I want also to find out. They said dead man tell no tales. Eh? Dead man tell no tales. Listen, let's play some semantics here. At the beginning of the Guyanese administration, the water was like that. You can't doubt people. The Guyanese administration inherited water like that from the PPP. The water was like that. It was worse in some instances. In many instances, there was no access to water. But by the second or third year of the Guyanese administration, the water was way improved in quality to internationally acceptable standards. Places that were not getting water were now getting access to water. Ask them interior regions. Them Amerindian communities that were solely dependent on creek and river water. Ask them if their lives, the quality of lives have not been improved under the Guyanese administration, because what happened? Many of them got wells. Yeah, many of them got wells. So the person who said what? That the water was like that when Guyanese was in government? Yes, they're right. But they're right bad. Because it was quickly fixed by the Guyanese government. Call it life.
Yes, good morning to you and all my African brothers and sisters in Guyana. First, let me give credit where credit belongs to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I want to thank Mark that who put stitch up with needle and thread bung mouth yesterday to praise Credit Singh. And now how the coalition did not give no Credit Singh protection. My brother Brown, if you're still listening, when you sign for do a job, don't matter what problem come across or you have to face, it's either you step down, you resign, and you say, look, I cannot handle this problem. I cannot handle to eat. And you walk away. But when you continue to do it, that means all Guyanese people are looking forward for you to be fair and do a complete honest job. And Credit Singh did not do that. And I will never agree with no one who said, yes, David Granger, Arman, Nagamutu, and Mamatan did not protect Plasmin, did not protect the workers them in that building. They allow a lot of nonsense go on as a leader and cause that problem today. But yes, still, Credit Singh, when she signed for that job, she did not tell Little Princess, look, I will sign too. That if any problem come, you have to protect me and get me out of there. No, she take that job. And what she did was totally wrong. And I say this again on your program from now on. I'm calling upon all Guyanese. If you do love your country, and if you do feel that pain back home for your brother and sister, especially children today in Guyana, and you want to have them for the same love that what you receive before you leave to go to America, Canada, and England, who get green card, return back home and vote. You could vote. I did it up to 2006. So I know what I'm talking about. As long as you have a green card, you could return back and vote. Why no program in asking Guyanese people them to return back and vote come next year? Prepare yourself. That is more important than anything else. So thank you again, Mark, for put that body to place. She had a responsibility, and she had a chance to do it, and she never did it up to this day. So all Guyanese fast garden action, all you guys that have a green card, return back home and vote. Do something for your loving country. Thank you very much for your time.
Flash layer must return to the source, come back home. Come home and vote. But keep in mind that you run the risk of being stranded when they get black out at the airport. Hey, yeah. Call it live. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. I just want to correct Flash Garden. You don't have to be a citizen could still vote. We do not announce our citizenship like with the Armenians and the Bahamians. When we get our citizenship, we could still vote. We still got our dual citizenship. So just for the correction, Flash, we could still vote. That's all.
That's all. Thank you, Ola. You see, I'm the kind of guy that I sit here, and when I sit here and I run in my mouth according to some people, right? I like providing receipts according to them. In 2018, this was reported. 8 hinterland communities to receive wells by year end. The Guyana-Brazil well drilling mission will see the construction work of 8 wells in 8 South Wapununi communities. It was officially launched today at Letem Amerindian Hostel. That was reported on Monday, October 1, 2018. Declaring the mission open, Minister of State Joseph Harmon noted that this agreement between the governments of Guyana and Brazil is a clear signal of the strong 50-year friendship and diplomatic relations between the two South American neighbors and has the potential to bring unprecedented relief to the citizens of Region 9. Quote, full quote, it is important to know that in this project there will be critical capacity building with the transfer of knowledge of well drilling techniques, and also we will be in a position to address some of those concerns on our own, not only in the technical level, but more importantly, the community level, Minister Harmon explained. So we were having technology transfer happening at the same time as the Brazilians were collaborating with the Guyanese government to drill wells in Region 9. Meanwhile, Colonel Emerson Denny, military attaché, BEC, noted that in this project, the Brazilian Army is deploying the 6th Construction Engineering Battalion from Bovista, which will be sending 48 military personnel to the mission. I wonder where our construction battalion is. 2nd Infantry, I think it used to be. I can't remember. Quote, the teams will begin the drilling wells. The teams will begin drilling the wells in South Wapununi from October 4th, with 2 drilling teams working 10 days in 2 simultaneous locations. We will have other teams to set up the wells in the 8 villages, Colonel Denny said. It is paramount that the communities have a regular supply of potable water all year round, end quote. 2 of the wells will be drilled by the Guyana Defense Force. So it means that we have people in the Guyana Defense Force who can drill wells, right? But are they, do they have the capacity in terms of equipment, etc.? Mayor of Letem, Kerry Jarvis, and Regional Chairman Brian Alicock both welcomed the project, noting its necessity to aid farmers and ranchers with their produce and animals. In 2017, a complementary agreement to the basic agreement and technical cooperation was signed between the President of Guyana and Brazil for the Brazilian Army Engineering Construction Battalion to drill 8 wells. The wells will be drilled at Aishalton, Churiked now, Chukricked now, Achiwim, Awariwaru now, Maruraru now, Shia, and by Shahindram, and will have a depth of 250 meters or 800 feet deep. They're expected to be handed over to the government of Ghana on November 20th. Right? So in 8 months, not even 8 months, October to November, in a month, 8 wells were expected to be dug or drilled in Region 9 and handed over to the government and people of Ghana in collaboration with the Brazilian government. Now, let me explain for you the importance of those wells in the interior regions. In the interior regions, there are many communities that suffer from drought. Dependent on what the water cycle is doing, they have extended drought, dry spells. And in those extended dry spells, they can't produce anything. So they become food insecure. The animals die. Because when the creeks dry up and they can't get water and so on, the animals die, the crops die, they become insecure. And so one concern of the Guyanese government at the time was to make them food secure. Was to make them food secure. And so the digging of those wells, 800 feet wells, meant that even in the dry season, they were going to have access to water. Water to water the crops and water to water the animals. And so all year long, they were able to produce and be food secure. I don't have to go any further to show you the importance of those wells to the Armenian communities. But prior to that, even 23 years of the PPP in government, not a single well was provided for the Armenians. They had to depend on creek and river water and suffer during the dry spells. So I like the fact that the person say, when was going to government, they had a misuse too, but they were fixed. They were fixed without oil money. And that is what we want to do with our oil money. Fix the people's problems. Fix them. The WPS committed itself to its presidential candidate, David Hines, Dr. Professor David Hines. The focus will be on the elimination of poverty. And I want to put it paraphrasing, poor people's problems. Voice note. Thank you for your call. Your voice note. I disagree with the caller to say that you can be of a community and raising certain questions about that community. I encourage you, if you are the member of a community, then by all means necessary, raise hell. Raise hell when it comes to the interest of that community. Ask what you must ask. Say what you must say. Because unless you do that, you're not helping in the development of that community. You see, people believe that you are against your own, or you are against, what should I say, your team, when you say what is wrong in the team. Right? I disagree. Oh my, sorry. Persons are saying they did not hear what the caller said, or the voice note said. Again, I told y'all, my second monitor went dead. It died on me. It collapsed, a sudden death. It suffered from sudden death syndrome or something. And so feeling my way around right now. But I'm going to replay that voice note for you. I'll do it from the phone so you can hear it. Let's go.
Morning, Brother Kidaki. Good morning, viewers. Brother Kidaki in the Namstel. We have a massive investment going on as you come out of Blankenburg into the Namstel from Georgetown on your left-hand side. You will see this work that these contractors doing there, giving us in our community. I complain to the councils them, the Apnu council them, the Namstel, up here, they didn't do nothing yesterday. All of them, they had started a meeting yesterday, and all of them went not too far from this work. Much time I complain to them concerning go and check the work. I know yesterday they went not too far from they know them ain't go nowhere. So I wanted to know all the years in the Namstel, all the council them that they had, they fail us miserably in this set that they have right now. It's actually the same set of people. It's only about 2 or 3 of them change. You understand me? And the same thing they're doing all these years in the Namstel, undermining our village. And I made to understand a guy in the set, the same PPP government put 16 bullets in his father. And he is in bed with them. I can tell you that personally, because I was sitting in there as a counselor, and I listened to him when he raised a lot of things about the Namstel. You understand me? And that shouldn't be. As an Apnu counselor, you can't raise things about your own constituency. Understand me? And you tell yourself you're one of us. He's not one of us. They put 16 bullets in his father during this troublous time. And this guy is siding with these people. I was sitting in there as a counselor, and I see and I hear everything about this same individual. This same individual is a pastor. And I can say because I was sitting there and I hear the things that he raised about the Namstel in there. It's atrocious. You understand? You see, these people that tell themselves they're representing the Apnu government, there is not Apnu. I think that they're trying to sabotage Mr. Arby Norton. And when Mr. Norton come to the Namstel, I'm going to tell him everything that these people do from the beginning, that when they occupied that village, I was going to tell him everything about these people. These people are some wicked people to the people in the community of the Namstel. And we need a rapidly change in the Namstel. The council, we need them to be changed. We need them to be changed by any means necessary, because they don't do nothing for us. They look like them in bed with the PPP. With the PPP, got them tied off. Because since they're in there, they never read, they never go highlight nothing, and the general public know nothing. What going on with them? Because a lot of substantive work that they give to us in the Namstel, and I say person that raising it all the time. And they may do nothing, they ignoring me. I call them for go and check this and check that. They may go in, they ignoring me. You understand? So I want this thing to, I'm glad that this thing I like this morning and let the people know exactly what's going on in the Namstel. Y'all do have a blessed day.
16 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. You're still tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. I am still your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. The Cash App is still $KAMS TV. So everything remains the same, right? I have another voice note though. Let's play it.
Good morning, Kidaki. I agree with that. Then I'm still call our voice note. That is the same thing going on in Buxton. They in bed with the PPP. Them is two-faced, them councillors that. Them ain't doing nothing for the Buxton people. Nothing. Look what's going on in Buxton. The eyesore. Them ain't doing nothing. They in bed. I agree with that, then I'm still Polish.
I want to ask a question. I'm going to ruffle some feathers. Thank you for that voice note, Queenie. You know, there are benefits to live or dwell on the border of Annandale, because I get to see a lot of things and I get to learn a lot of things. And here is a question I want to ask. Why is it the Annandale Lusignan Reconnaissance NDC, or whatever the correct name is, can collect refuse religiously from the communities it serves? I think even on Sundays they collect refuse. The NDC tractor works on Sundays to collect refuse. I've seen it in Annandale several Sundays. How is it they can do that religiously? And over in Buxton, we have a situation that people have to have overflowing bins for weeks before that garbage is collected. Mind you, from my belief, the Buxton Falls NDC now has two tractors. But yet they're finding it difficult to service all the communities in the neighborhood on a timely manner, on a timely basis. The other thing is, how it is ever so often, I can see the mini excavator of the Annandale Lusignan Reconnaissance, whatever they call it, NDC clearing drains and main drains, especially in the neighborhood. But I don't see it happening over in Buxton Falls NDC. And from my recollection, not so long ago, the Buxton Falls NDC purchased a mini excavator. What? Have they been buying these things as toys? Have they been buying them to store up or park in the yard or whatever? Why isn't the Buxton Falls NDC more efficient in the delivery of services to residents? Are the councillors sleeping at the wheel? Are the administrative staff sleeping at the wheel? Y'all explain. I need to know. I mean, I'm going to ruffle some feathers. People just vex when I talk. But it doesn't bother me anyhow. What is happening there? And here is this big question. Because I think the buck stops there. Is leader of the PNCR, Aubrey Norton, sleeping at the wheel with his councillors? Is there any mechanism in place for the councillors representing the PNC to report on a daily, weekly, monthly, fortnightly basis to the party what has been happening in their neighborhoods, in their neck of the woods? I'm asking, and I'm asking publicly, because like I just, not because you talk about bad things happening in your neighborhood or in your household, you're against the household. You just want them fixed. So, Leader Norton, do your councillors, is there any mechanism for your councillors to report to the party on the performance at the council? If not, there's a lack of quality control, and that needs to be fixed. I'm not going to say whether it exists or not, I'm asking. But I'm saying there's a lot to be desired from the performances. Call it life. You can't just be voted a councillor on the PNC ticket or whichever political party ticket, and then you enjoy the ride. And that party has no control or no say in terms of what you do. The PPP councillors got to report to them every day as far as I understand, especially the chairpersons. Call it life.
Yeah, good morning. Earlier in your program, you mentioned that pensioners were better off under the Granger administration than the PPP now. Let me remind you that under Granger administration, pensioners receive 500, 800, 1,000, and 2,500 within the 4 years. How that pensions could be better off under the Granger administration. And secondly, the subsidy for pensioners for water and electricity were removed. And thirdly, NIS pension, the pension was stagnated. It didn't have an increase under Granger administration. So, sir, you know, when you're throwing facts out there, you must be realistic. How could that be better?
You finished? Are you finished? Somebody say, please answer that idiot accordingly. That's the view of my viewers. That's an idiot. Hey man, it's 8 minutes. You know, these people smart. These people smart, but just wait until the time is almost over to come and ask me the foolishness. All right? You know what? I know what I will do. I know what I will do. Here's what I'm going to do. Tomorrow, Winston Jordan is going to be on. Call it live.
Yeah, good morning to the thing with Joseph babbling. I think the thing come out of a sheep pen. With oil in Guyana, the prior Ranger government raised everybody's salary. Everybody used to get increases. Enough 3.5% and that kind of thing. Public servants' salary that was way down at the bottom move up until it meet where it was in 2019. When then I think is Win Seeds and other operatives of the PPP said that because the best man Sharon, that's from the AFC, made APNU a caretaker government. APNU was not allowed to go into the coppers to do any farming increases because they made certain APNU was a caretaker government. So from the 2018, after this thing in December, nothing could not have been done. That even after when monies was given out, I think Wincy said those monies will be taken away from the recipients of the money. Right now, the private sector is in clue and collusion with this wicked installed regime not to increase the salaries of any form of public servant, whether it be nurse, teacher, police, whatever. Because anytime you raise the money, the private sector will have to raise the salaries of their workers, which they do not want. As a nurse, I could remember people say, oh, go and work at the private hospital. When you go over to the private hospital, They used to give the nurses about $5,000 more than Ministry of Health. And when they were at the private thing, you got to write down how much time the split got. You say, see when you go there? You got to turn a pen nurse. You got to remember to charge for everything. So when nurses left the government hospital, where you're only charting the blood pressure, the temperature, the respiration, the pulse. In the case of a diabetic person, you're charting the urine. You have to start now to chart every living thing. And with all you are using about 3 to 4 to 5 pence a month against 1 penny a year at the government hospital, you are not being paid. So right now, the public sector is the private sector is glad with the way how the wages are being frozen so that they still got a little edge over the thing. And we all know that this wicked installed government likes to deal with people under the table, all the fraudulent things you could do. So I don't know why that man gets up and talk about NIS. You look at the NIS person pension, they now raise it to $42,000. Let he take the $42,000 and go and see what he could get in the market. 1 pound of plantain that is being grown in Guyana is $350 a pound. All the other greens, but you can't buy shallot and celery. Them the top in the scale. You're gonna make up your mind to use onion and garlic. So when you see this PPP operative come on this program, all he comes on the program to do is to light fire and to cause problem. But I would like him to sit back and stop being a Judas, because he's a betrayer and he is destroying whatever little is left of an African person. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call, Rhonda. Rhonda, you've done well, as you always do. Let me tell you something. You know, I'm going to spend a little extra time just for the sake of this call, just his education. I was saying I will wait for Minister John to come and help me answer this man tomorrow because I ain't got enough time to look for the information. But, you know, I just did some search and I saw something that was written under the hand of Mr. Jordan, so I'm going to read it for you. Good. Let's go. An appeal for NIS pension increase. And this was written in 2024, just May month, right? But it is detailed, so I want you all to pay attention. I ain't got a second monitor, so I can't share it with you right now. An elderly NIS pensioner approached me recently for an explanation as to why the government has not increased NIS pensions above the minimum. The NIS pensioner currently gets a pension of about $52,000 per month, the same amount that he was getting in 2020, the year when the last increase in pension was effected. Since I was not in a position to give him a satisfactory answer, I have decided to highlight this matter through this letter in the hope that it generates immediate action by the concerned minister or ministers. The table below indicates the yearly increases in NIS old age pension since 2015. In 2015, the minimum pension was $21,352, and it was increased by 8% at a minimum, and above minimum, it was increased 5%. In 2016, the minimum pension was $25,000, and minimum increase at the minimum was increased by 17%. Above minimum got no increase. In 2017, pensions were $27,500,000. Minimum pension was $27,500. The minimum was increased by 10%, and above the minimum got 4%. In 2018, the pension was $30,000. Minimum pension was increased by 9%, and above minimum got 2%. In 2019, it was $32,100. Minimum pension was increased by 7%, and above minimum got nothing. In 2020, pensions minimum was $35,000. Increase of the minimum was 9%, and above minimum got 4%. I want us to stick a pin there. In 2020, when the coalition was in office, pensions stood at $35,000. In 2021, pensions stood at $35,000 with the minimum we're talking about. In 2022, minimum stood at $35,000. In 2023, minimum stood at $35,000. And then in 2024, the minimum moved from 35 to 43,000. Let's say an $8,000 increase. So this scholar, I want to ask this scholar, where the stagnation was from 2015 to when the coalition left the office in 2020. Every year, there was an increase of the minimum from 21,352 to 25,000 to 27,000 to 30,000 to 32,000 to 35,000. And then it stood at 35,000 for 3 years, 2021, 22, and 23. And then it increased by $8,000 in 2024. Okay? So I want this, as somebody said, idiot, to tell me where the stagnation was when the coalition was in office. As a matter of fact, you will see that the coalition moved pensions in 2015 when it got into office from $21,000 to $35,000 when it left office, right? An increase of $14,000 over the years. And in the PPP was in office for 4 years since, and they only managed to increase pension by $8,000. As is evident from the table, the coalition government increased the minimum pension equivalent to 50% of the minimum wage every year between 2015 and 2020, with the minimum pension increasing from 21,000, which I just explained, to 35. Following their installation in office, the PPP government, while increasing salaries in 2021, 22, and 23, failed to similarly raise the NIS pension for those years, only doing so in 2024 when the minimum pension was increased by 23% to $43,075. The government's failure to compensate NIS old age minimum pensioners for the 3 years has resulted in an accumulated loss in unadjusted income of $92,000 for each pensioner. $92,496 to be exact for each pensioner. That is the loss pensioners suffered under the PPP from 2020 to 2024. The table also reveals that the last increase in NIS old age pensions above the minimum was in 2019. A 4% increase was granted by the coalition government, which was implemented from January 2020. Since then, no further increase was given, hence the query by the pensioner. This has had several deleterious consequences. Importantly, money has a time value. That is, the value of today's dollar is not the same as that of 4 years ago. The basket of goods bought with $52,000 in 2020 will cost substantially more in 2024. In the absence of savings or other income to supplement his pension, our pensioner would have experienced a reduced standard of living through no fault of his. Second, as correctly identified by a letter writer, Starbuck News, February 6, 2024, a great deal of angst has been created as a result of pensioners who were receiving just above the minimum pension. These pensioners are now being forced to accept the new minimum pension instead of having their pensions suitably adjusted to maintain the status quo ante. It is true that NIS must examine the sustainability of any increase. On the income side, NIS revenues have suffered because of the failure of successive governments to implement the recommendations of the actuarial reports. Low returns in treasury bills, its preferred investment, and investments such as Bobby's Bridge and Clico, and high delinquency rates among employers and self-employed. On the expenditure side, an aging population resulting in increased payout of benefits and rising administration costs, among others, have damaged the profitability of the scheme. None of this is the fault of the pensioners. If NIS is being prevented from paying increased old age pensions above the minimum, then the government must act decisively to remove the impediments and or provide relief financing. I believe that the NIS is still a member of the Cooperative Finance Administration, COFA. I believe the COFA Act has not been repealed. This act has provisions for the government to meet any shortfall in any financial year of any of the financial institutions falling under the act. even if it is assumed that the act no longer exists. Nothing stops the government from transferring the necessary resources to NIS. This is being done already in the specific case of Gaisuko, which benefited from over 50 billion in transfers under the coalition government. The entity continues to be the recipient of billions of dollars in transfers annually under the current government. It was the intent of the coalition government to transfer resources from the Natural Resource Fund to the NIS so that the scheme can meet its obligations to its contributors, pensioners, and other beneficiaries. It will be recalled that the scheme was similarly bailed out in 2016 when a deal was signed for the scheme to recover $5.6 billion it lost in the CLICO in 2009. NIS ceases to function as an effective social safety valve when beneficiaries are denied their rightful pension. After many years of contributing to the scheme, the great Robert Bob Nestamari sang, quote, "In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty," end quote. In the abundance of resources, unheard of in the annals of our history, the NIS pensioners above the minimum are made to suffer. The government must act now to bring permanent relief to this category of pensioners. Yours faithfully, Vincent Jordan, former finance minister. So I don't have to wait for Mr. Jordan to come here to explain. The letter's done it. So for that idiot, somebody said that jackass. There's your response. There is your response. I have nothing else to say to you. What I want to say is y'all hop over the Cash App on the Zelle and put something there, man. All right, put something there. Let me acknowledge those people who went into the Cash App. I think yesterday, a couple of people went over there and they dropped something in the Cash App. Let me see. We had Keith yesterday. I acknowledge Keith. I acknowledge are still waiting for you to fix this anomaly. Keith, Monica, that was from Monday to yesterday. 4 persons went into the Cash App from Monday to yesterday. Good. I thank you for your contributions. However, I'm grateful because it will help in some way or other. Now I have to be budgeting for a new monitor. So more than anything else, what I say, we need you now more than ever. Yeah, I'll put something in the Cash App. I gotta go buy a monitor so that I can share these screens efficiently with you. Good. My program is more efficient when I get to use the extra screen because then I get to show videos there for you to have a look at, and I get to play my voice notes on the computer for you to hear them. So Cheryl, thank you for visiting the Zelle yesterday, and Melina, thank you for visiting the Zelle yesterday. On Monday we had a visit from Alfred, one from Peggy, right? So 4 persons again from in the Zelle from Monday to today, and 4 persons in the Cash App from Monday to today. Y'all gotta do better, right? I'm not bullying you. I'm not making a demand. I'm encouraging you. You have to do better. Brent Null, thank you for visiting this morning on the Cash App, right? And it's not even me money. Thank you, Brent. Run the lane, I have some money here for you. Please make arrangements to collect it. It's for your event tickets. Good. You see what Cam Stevie does? We acting as a courier now. So Brent, I must charge you for what is the service fee? And Western Union would have charged you. That's a joke. I hope you don't take that one too personal. Some people do take things personally because they're thin skin. Like a certain minister of government that was called what? Trench Crapper, I think, and was so psychologically affected that I think he went to the courts. Y'all remember when Credible Sources, we name again? Sherrod Duncan was arrested for psychologically assaulting, my words, my choice of words, psychologically assaulting the battalion. Yeah, so I hope y'all don't take me personal and vex because they say I'm going to charge you a fee for transferring money through Cams TV. Good? Yeah, so there you have it. That was today's program. Y'all have a good one. Let me remind you, though, that the Buxton Friendship Guyana Business and Culture Expo is on the 25th of August, and I'm encouraging you all to come out. Bring out whatever produce you have for display. Call us on 6827981 or WhatsApp for details as to the booths and the cost of booths, and let us know what you intend so we can start to make the necessary preparations for you. Whether it is a service you're offering, whether it is manufactured goods, whether it is agricultural produce or agro-processed goods, we welcome you. And we also welcome those of you who have talents to display as a service. Come down to the expo. It starts at 11 on the 25th of August. There is going to be music, both stereo set and one-man band. Guyanese love a one-man band late in the evening. So come on down. There will be a well-stocked bar. There will be food bar. I know Proper Wine is watching me, so I don't have to ask Proper Wine. I'm saying Proper Wine is going to be out there. Likewise, I'm to make contact with Dixie's cream liqueur and so on. Come out and see all that is on offer, especially from our communities. Come out. And those of you who are exhibitors, those of you who are going to come as exhibitors, let me give you a tip in advance. Please, 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 ensure you have business cards. There's no point in going to a marketing event without business cards. Ensure you label your products. There's no point in going to a marketing event without labeling your products. I guess tomorrow Winston Jordan is going to be on, I guess. If he's not, I'm going to use that session to teach our producers and our manufacturers and our exhibitors what they need to do in preparation for this Business and Cultural Expo. Don't turn up with anything unmarked, because the people buy it. If they want to recommend it, they must be able to get some information from your packaging, at least, if you don't hand them a business card. To say, well, hey, you know, this thing is good. According to the package, you can call Tom Jack on this number, right? Or, hey, I got a business card from Tom Jack, the producer of this stuff. This is the information. You cannot go out there to a marketing event and don't have the necessary marketing tool. Some people might go there and say, I ain't sell a bottle of nothing by. I had to pay $5,000 for the booth, and I ain't sell a bottle of nothing. But you will stay not selling a bottle of nothing if you didn't give anybody a business card. Because there are lots of people who will come to that event, not necessarily to buy a bottle of anything there and then, but to scout, to see where the possibilities are, both to supply and both to be supplied. Right? So come prepared. Do your business cards. If you want assistance to do your business cards, hit us up, 6827981. We can assist you in preparing business cards. Do posters. Explain your product. That's how you do marketing. That's how you benefit from an expo. Right? Have a good one. Much love. See you tomorrow. See you soon. Those of you on the Cash App, put something there. Those of you on Zelle, put something there. Those of you who never put anything anyway, please get a little generous for change. You can't be breaking your bread under your cup, over your cup like that. Good? I'll see you all tomorrow. Meanwhile, I'll see if I can figure out this monitor in the course of today. I hope I can find the time. And hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to give you more on the extra screen that I was able to give you today. Good, but much love. Bye-bye. Enjoy yourself. If you can't be good, be safe.